The secret in your spice rack unlocking the atomic power of a tiny bud. Imagine a medicine. It's not in a brightly colored box. It's not prescribed by a doctor in a white coat. It's smaller than your smallest fingernail, and it's been sitting, forgotten, in the darkest corner of your kitchen cabinet for months, maybe even years. It's a clove. We sprinkle it into stews. We stud it into hams during the holidays, and we think we know it. But what if this tiny dried flower bud is one of the most potent, overlooked, and accessible natural remedies on the planet? What if the key to transforming your digestion, silencing chronic inflammation, and supercharging your immunity wasn't a costly supplement, but this humble, aromatic speck? This isn't just folklore. This is biochemistry, and we are about to embark on a 7-day experiment, an experiment where you are the subject. What happens when you eat just 2 cloves every single day for 1 week? The internal cascade of events is more dramatic, more immediate, and more powerful than you can possibly imagine. But like any powerful tool, it must be handled with respect, because the very properties that make it a healer can also make it a danger if misunderstood. This is the truth about cloves, the historical echo, a spice that shaped empires. To understand the power of the clove, we must first step out of our kitchens and into the annals of history. Picture the Molucca Islands of Indonesia, once known as the Spice Islands. For over 2,000 years, this was the only place on earth where the clove tree, Syzygium aromaticum, grew. The air was thick with the scent of its flower buds, drying in the tropical sun. In ancient China, during the Han Dynasty, courtiers were required to hold cloves in their mouths when addressing the emperor to ensure their breath was sweet. This wasn't just a quaint custom. It was an unconscious recognition of cloves' potent antibacterial power. Across the Indian Ocean, in the Ayurvedic texts of India, cloves were documented as a warming spice, a digestive fire starter, and a remedy for toothache and respiratory woes. Then the Europeans arrived. The quest for cloves, pepper, and nutmeg became a driving force of global exploration, war, and empire building. They were worth more than their weight in gold. Why? It wasn't just for flavor. In an age before refrigeration, spices like cloves preserved food and masked the taste of spoilage. But more profoundly, they were medicine. They were a lifeline. They treated the plagues and ailments that modern medicine had yet to understand. The world was literally fought over for the contents of your spice jar. That is the legacy you hold in your hand, the molecular mastermind deconstructing eugenol. So, what is the secret? What is the singular active agent within this tiny bud that commands such power? The answer is a compound called eugenol. Think of a clove not as a spice but as a microscopic fortress. Eugenol is the elite guard stationed at its core. Chemically, it's a phenylpropene, a volatile compound that makes up 70-90 of clove essential oil. But in human terms, it is a multi-talented therapeutic marvel, the anti-inflammatory assassin. When you injure yourself or when your body detects a threat, it launches an inflammatory response. This is a good thing initially, but in our modern world, this response often becomes chronic, a silent, smoldering fire linked to everything from arthritis to heart disease. Eugenol marches directly into this battlefield. It works by inhibiting the activity of COX-2 enzymes, the very same enzymes targeted by common anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen. But it does so with a natural, more nuanced intelligence, calming the flames without the harsh side effects on your stomach lining. The bacterial annihilator. Your mouth is a jungle teeming with billions of bacteria. Most are harmless, but some, like Streptococcus mutans, are the architects of tooth decay. They feast on sugar and excrete acid that erodes your enamel. Here, eugenol transforms into a precise antimicrobial sniper. Its molecular structure allows it to penetrate the bacterial cell walls, causing them to rupture and die. This is why clove oil is a gold standard, natural remedy for toothaches. It doesn't just mask the pain. It executes the cause, the antioxidant vanguard. Now imagine your cells are like pristine metal, and every day, through metabolism and environmental toxins, they are exposed to oxygen. This causes rust, what we call oxidative stress. This cellular rust is the foundation of aging and chronic disease. Cloves are not just a source of antioxidants. They are one of the most potent sources ever measured. The OREX core oxygen radical absorbance capacity, a scale that measures antioxidant power, places cloves at the very top of the list, surpassing blueberries and kale by orders of magnitude. Eugenol and other compounds in cloves donate electrons to these rusting free radicals, neutralizing them and protecting your cellular machinery from damage. But eugenol doesn't work alone. It has a powerful supporting cast within the clove: manganese, a critical cofactor for bone health and metabolism; vitamin K, the essential conductor of your body's calcium orchestra, directing it to your bones and away from your arteries; and dietary fiber, which feeds the benevolent gut bacteria that form the foundation of your entire health. This is the arsenal. This is the biochemical dream team you ingest when you consume just 2 cloves. The 7-day transformation, your internal revolution begins. So you begin. Day 1. You take 2 whole cloves. Perhaps you chew them slowly, releasing a wave of warmth, a slight numbing sensation, and a flavor that is both sweet and fiercely pungent. Or maybe you soak them in water overnight. The journey has started. Inside you, a silent, meticulous process begins. Days 1 and 2, the digestive reawakening. The journey begins in the stomach. That warmth you feel is not an illusion. Cloves are what Ayurveda calls carminative. This is a fancy word for a simple, beautiful process. They help relax the smooth muscles of your digestive tract, allowing trapped gas to pass and relieving the pressure and bloating that makes you feel heavy and sluggish. The bitter compounds in cloves stimulate the production of digestive enzymes and gastric juices. Your stomach, which had to labor over your last meal, now finds the process smoother, more efficient. You finish a meal and instead of that familiar abdominal tightness, you feel a sense of lightness, of completion. This is the first, most immediate sign that something is changing.
The gastric line, eugenol, is powerful. In high concentrations, it can be irritating to the delicate mucosal lining of your stomach and intestines. Consuming more than 2-3 cloves per day, especially on an empty stomach, can shift the experience from soothing digestion to causing discomfort. This is why method matters. Chewing slowly allows your saliva to begin the dilution process. Soaking cloves in water creates a gentler infusion. Never swallow them whole and dry. It's an overwhelming, concentrated blast to your system. The blood-thinning effect. Remember how eugenol improves circulation by acting as a vasodilator and by mildly reducing the stickiness of platelets? For most, this is a benefit. But if you are already on prescription blood-thinning medication like warfarin or aspirin, this effect can become additive, potentially increasing the risk of bleeding and bruising. This is non-negotiable. If you are on such medication, this remedy is not for you without direct medical supervision. Pregnancy and sensitization. For pregnant and breastfeeding women, the data is insufficient. The potent bioactive compounds could potentially stimulate uterine activity. The safe and respectful choice is to avoid therapeutic doses and consult a healthcare provider. Furthermore, for a very small subset of people, direct contact with clove oil can cause contact dermatitis. Always dilute essential oils and start slowly. Now understand the 7-day journey and the critical safety rules. You've seen the blueprint for internal transformation, but knowing the theory is one thing, applying it is another. What if you have a specific, nagging health concern? What if you could create a targeted, natural medicine, tailored just for you, using this one incredible spice? The next part might completely change how you see this topic. Because we are about to unlock 15 precise recipes from Nature's Pharmacy. Nature's Pharmacy, 15 targeted recipes for transformation. Welcome to the final part of our journey. We've uncovered the science and witnessed the timeline. Now it's time to become your own compounding pharmacist. The following are not just recipes. They are protocols. They are ways to harness the multifaceted power of cloves and direct it with precision against specific health challenges. Think of cloves as your base ingredient, your active pharmaceutical ingredient. By combining it with other synergistic natural agents, you can create formulas that are greater than the sum of their parts. Here are 15 targeted solutions, the 15 medicinal recipes. 1. For digestive ease and bloating, the soothing clove tea after a heavy meal. When you feel that familiar pressure building, this is your remedy. Boil 1 cup of water with 3-4 lightly crushed cloves for 5 minutes. The crushing releases the oils. The heat infuses them into the water. The warm liquid itself relaxes the stomach, while the clove compounds get to work relieving spasms and expelling gas. Drink it warm and feel the tension melt away within minutes. 2. For blood sugar balance, the morning metabolic tonic. This is a ritual before you go to bed. Take a glass of clean, room temperature water and drop into whole cloves. Let them steep overnight. Upon waking, before any food or coffee, drink this clove-infused water. The compounds have gently leached into the water, providing a subtle, non-irritating signal to your metabolism to prepare for the day, helping to prime your insulin receptors for the first meal. 3. For colds and stubborn coughs, the bronchial balm, crush 2 cloves into a fine powder. Mix them with 1 teaspoon of raw, unpasteurized honey. Honey is a demulcent, coating and soothing the raw, scratched throat, and it has its own antimicrobial properties. The cloves add their antiseptic and anti-inflammatory power, targeting the infection at its source and calming the nerve endings that trigger the cough reflex. Take this before bed to silence a tickling cough and promote restful sleep. For toothache and gum inflammation, the emergency gum gargle. This is the classic use for a reason. Add 2 crushed cloves to a glass of warm water with half a teaspoon of salt. The salt creates a hypertonic solution, drawing out inflammatory fluids from swollen gums. The cloves deliver a direct numbing and antibacterial punch. Swish vigorously for 30 seconds, focusing on the affected area. It's a first aid kit in a glass. 5. For arthritis and joint stiffness. The deep penetration joint liniment. Gently heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a carrier rich in its own anti-inflammatory compounds. Add 5 crushed cloves and let them simmer on the lowest possible heat for 5 minutes. Do not burn. Strain the cloves out. You are left with a medicated oil. Massage this warm oil into stiff knees, aching knuckles, or a sore lower back. The warmth improves surface blood flow, while the eugenol penetrates deep to quiet the inflammatory signals within the joint. 6. For heart health and circulation, the cardiotonic tea. Combine 2 cloves with a thin slice of fresh ginger in a cup of boiling water. Steep for 5-7 minutes. Ginger contains gingerols, which are also potent anti-inflammatories and circulatory stimulants. Together, they create a powerful synergy that warms the body from the core out, supports healthy blood pressure, and promotes fluid, effortless blood flow. 7. For immunity and sustained energy, the cognitive spark powder. In a clean coffee grinder or mortar and pestle, grind 2 cloves with a 1-inch piece of cinnamon stick into a fine powder. Cinnamon is another blood sugar regulator and antioxidant powerhouse. This dynamic duo can be stirred into your morning oatmeal, blended into a smoothie, or even sprinkled on top of your coffee grounds before brewing. It's a seamless integration of medicine into your daily routine. 8. For stress and anxiety, the nervous system reset inhalation. This bypasses the gut for immediate effect. Add 3- for crushed cloves to a medium bowl of steaming hot water. Lean over the bowl, drape a large towel over your head to create a tent, and close your eyes. Inhale the fragrant, eugenol-rich steam deeply and slowly for 5 to 10 minutes. You are sending a direct, calming signal to your brain's limbic system, the seat of emotion. The result is a profound, meditative calm. 9. For sinus congestion and headaches, the decongestant steam. Build upon the inhalation method. To the bowl of hot water and cloves, add 1 teaspoon of dried peppermint or eucalyptus leaves. Menthol from mint and eucalyptol from eucalyptus are renowned decongestants. Inhaling this triple-action steam antiseptic from cloves, cooling from mint, and expectorant from eucalyptus can forcefully open blocked sinus passages and drain pressure that causes debilitating headaches. 10. For skin fungus and athlete's foot, the antifungal foot bath. This is a targeted strike. Boil 10-12 cloves in 2 cups of water for 10-15 minutes to create a highly concentrated, potent tea. Let it cool completely. Soak clean feet in this tea for 20-30 minutes daily. Eugenol's antifungal properties are so strong that they can effectively combat stubborn organisms like trichophyton, which causes athlete's foot, restoring the health of your skin. 11. For nausea and motion sickness, the settling sipper. Steep 2 crushed cloves and a fresh slice of lemon in a cup of just boiled water for 10 minutes. Sip it slowly. The citrus oils from the lemon peel and the clove oils work in concert to settle stomach spasms and quell the rising feeling of nausea. It's a clear, calming elixir for an upset stomach. 12. For lower back pain and muscle spasms. The warming mustard pack, gently heat half a cup of mustard oil. Add 10-12 crushed cloves and heat on low for 5 minutes. Mustard oil contains allylisothiocyanate, which creates a powerful warming sensation, drawing blood to the surface. Combined with the penetrating anti-inflammatory action of clove oil, this creates a deep heat therapy that can unravel knotted muscles and relieve spasm-based back pain. 13. For sore throat and laryngitis. The throat coating gargle, as with the gum gargle, but with a different focus. The salt and clove combination here directly soothes the inflamed red tissue of the pharynx. The antibacterial action works on the infection, while the salt reduces tissue swelling, helping to restore your voice. Gargle every 3 to 4 hours for rapid relief. 14. For memory and mental clarity. The brain-boosting tonic. Blend 2 crushed cloves with a handful of walnuts and a cup of your preferred milk until smooth. Walnuts are rich in DHA, an omega-3 fatty acid that is the primary structural component of the brain. Cloves improve cerebral circulation. Together, they create a nutrient-dense shake that feeds your mind and optimizes its environment, sharpening focus and recall. 15. For chronic bad breath halitosis. The natural breath mint. This is the simplest protocol of all. Place a single whole clove in your mouth and gently suck on it, occasionally crushing it slightly, with your teeth to release more oil. This isn't about masking odor with mint. It is about eradicating the sulfur-producing bacteria at the back of your tongue and in your throat that are the true cause of bad breath. It's a lasting, fundamental fix. You are now armed with an arsenal of natural, targeted remedies. You understand the profound 7-day transformation and the critical science behind it. It seems simple, doesn't it? Just a clove a day. But this journey reveals a much deeper, more profound truth about our relationship with nature and with our own health. And this is where the video takes its final, shocking turn, because the biggest result of this experiment isn't what happens to your body, but what happens to your mind. The final truth the smallest things bring, about the biggest changes. So what is the final result? After 7 days of consuming 2 cloves daily, the physiological changes are clear. Improved digestion, stabilized energy, a calmer nervous system, a stronger immune response. But the most profound transformation is often psychological. For 7 days, you engaged in a conscious, deliberate act of self-care. You weren't passively swallowing a pill manufactured in a distant factory. You were holding a piece of the natural world, understanding its history, respecting its power, and intentionally using it to fuel your body. This act builds a powerful new narrative. I am capable of influencing my own well-being. This experiment reconnects you to a timeless rhythm of healing. It's a rhythm our ancestors knew intimately, but that our modern world has all but erased the rhythm of using the intelligent, complex chemistry of plants to support the intricate, brilliant biology of our own bodies. You stop seeing a clove as just a spice, and you start seeing the entire natural world as a partner in health. This shift from being a passive patient to an active participant in your health journey is the most valuable result of all. It's empowering. It's grounding. The story of the clove is a microcosm of a much larger story. It's the story of how we have overlooked the profound power hidden in plain sight, in our kitchens, our gardens, and in the natural world around us. We chase exotic superfoods and expensive solutions, while one of the most potent remedies on earth has been a staple of human cuisine and medicine for millennia. It reminds us that true wellness is often not about addition, but about subtraction. It's not about complicating our lives with more routines and more supplements, but about simplifying, about returning to the potent basics that have stood the test of time. The clove teaches us about balance. Its story is one of both immense power and necessary caution. It shows us that nature is not benign. It is potent and must be approached with knowledge and respect. In that balance between benefit and risk, between tradition and science, we find the path to sustainable health. So, as you finish this video, look at your kitchen not just as a place of food, but as a place of potential. See the cinnamon, the ginger, the turmeric, the oregano not just as flavors, but as allies you have been given. The key to unlock one of them. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The transformation of your health can begin with just 2 cloves. Remember, sometimes the smallest things, like a couple of cloves, bring about the biggest changes to your health. Days 3 and 4. The oral microbiome reset. As you chew the cloves on day 3 and 4, the eugenol-rich oils are released directly into your oral cavity. This isn't just breath freshening. This is a full-scale microbial renovation. The plaque-forming bacteria on your teeth begin to die off. The inflammatory bacteria lurking in your gum pockets are subdued. You might notice your gums look less red. They bleed less when you floss. Your tongue feels cleaner. The morning breath that used to be a force to be reckoned with is now noticeably milder. You have begun to shift the very ecosystem of your mouth from one of decay to one of health. This is only the beginning. You've felt the digestive ease, you've experienced the oral cleanse. But what happens next, deep within your bloodstream and your nervous system, is where the story takes a truly shocking turn. The compounds from these 2 daily cloves are now coursing through your veins, heading for your brain, your heart, your very DNA. And the changes they trigger there are what most people never get to see. But most people never hear the next part, and that is the real danger of misunderstanding this powerful spice. The domino effect from blood sugar to brain fog. Welcome back. We've witnessed the opening act of our 7-day clove experiment. The digestive system has been soothed, the oral cavity sanitized, but the journey of eugenol and its powerful allies is far from over. They have been absorbed. They are in your bloodstream, and they are now enacting changes so profound they can alter your metabolic and mental landscape. This is where the experiment moves from feeling better to functioning better. Days 5 and 6. The metabolic and circulatory shift. By the halfway point, the compounds in cloves begin to interact with your most critical systems. Blood sugar symphony. Imagine your cells have thousands of tiny doors. Insulin is the key that unlocks these doors to allow glucose, your primary fuel, to enter. In conditions like insulin resistance, the locks get rusty. The key doesn't work well, so glucose piles up in your bloodstream, causing damage, while your cells starve for energy. Research indicates that the bioactive compounds in cloves act like a master locksmith. They don't just mimic insulin. They help repair the locks themselves, improving insulin sensitivity. This means the glucose in your blood after a meal is efficiently ushered into your muscles and liver, preventing those devastating energy spikes and crashes. You may notice around day 5 that the mid-afternoon slump isn't as deep. That craving for a PM sugar hit begins to quieten. This isn't a lack of willpower. It's biochemistry. Your blood sugar is finding its rhythm. The river of life warms. Eugenol is a vasodilator. This means it gently coaxes the smooth muscles lining your blood vessels to relax and widen. Think of a narrow, rushing stream versus a wide, flowing river. In the wide river, traffic moves smoothly. Nutrients, oxygen, and immune cells are delivered efficiently to every outpost in your body, from the tips of your fingers to the ends of your toes, and metabolic waste is carried away just as effectively. Many people report a newfound warmth in their extremities around this time. Those constantly cold hands and feet begin to feel alive, tingling with improved circulation. This is the feeling of your inner river flowing freely. The mind-body connection, stress, immunity, and clarity. The influence of this humble spice now reaches the very command center of your being, your brain and your immune system, the nervous system sanctuary, We live in an age of chronic stress. Our nervous systems are perpetually bathed in cortisol, the alert hormone. Eugenol has demonstrated significant anxiolytic anti-anxiety effects in scientific studies. How? It appears to interact with GABA receptors in the brain. GABA is the brain's primary brake pedal, a neurotransmitter that promotes calm and relaxation. The eugenol molecule, in its intricate wisdom, seems to gently press this brake pedal, slowing the racing thoughts, easing the background hum of anxiety. It's not a sedative. It's a balm. The feeling is not of being drugged, but of being grounded. The world feels just a little less sharp, a little more manageable. The immune system's strategic reserve. Your immune system is an army, and it needs intelligent intelligence. The chronic, low-grade inflammation we discussed earlier is like a constant, false alarm. It tires out the troops, leaving them unprepared for a real invasion. By dousing these inflammatory fires, the clove compounds allow your immune system to stand down from its constant, low-level alert and regroup. The antioxidants act as a protective shield for your immune cells themselves, allowing them to function at peak capacity. So, when a cold virus does come knocking, your defensive lines are strong, well-rested, and ready. You've moved from a state of reactive defense to one of powerful, prepared resilience. Day 7. The convergence speak energy and radiant skin. This is the day of integration. All the separate threads of benefit weave together into a tangible, felt experience. Your digestion is smooth, so no energy is wasted on a laboring gut. Your blood sugar is stable, providing a steady, uninterrupted current of fuel. Your circulation is optimal, ensuring that fuel is delivered to every cell. The background anxiety has diminished, freeing up mental resources previously spent on worry. The result? A surge in clean, consistent energy. You wake up feeling actually rested. You move through your day without the desperate need for caffeine pick-me-ups, and your skin tells the final chapter of this internal story. The combination of reduced internal inflammation, improved circulation delivering fresh blood and nutrients, and powerful antioxidants fighting free radical damage from pollution and UV light, results in a clearer, calmer, and more radiant complexion. The transformation is now visible to the world. The precautions, the line between medicine and poison. But this is where the video takes a critical and often overlooked turn. Power demands respect. To use cloves without understanding their potency is to wield a scalpel as a butter knife. The principle of pharmacology is simple. The dose makes the poison.